Hey, good morning, guys. Welcome back to Baseball with Buttermilk. I am Buttermilk. So today I want to talk about vintage baseball. I kind of teased you guys yesterday with one of these. This is a lemon peel style baseball, baseball that would have been used in and around the 1860s. So I'm a member of the Tennessee Association of Vintage Baseball. We play bare-handed Civil War era baseball. We use wooden bats. We use replica balls like such. We play by the rules in the 1864 rule book. There are a couple things that aren't mentioned in the rule book, and so we kind of leave those out. But as far as if you were just to walk up on us playing, you would instantly recognize it as the game of baseball. There were a lot of changes, a lot of rule variations between 1860 and 1870. And so if you know somebody that plays vintage baseball around where you are, there's a chance that we play a little different. Not a ton different, but a little different. So one of the biggest rule differences in the way that we play and the way modern baseball is that we have what's called the bound rule, which means that if a batter or striker hits the ball and the fielder catches the ball on one bounce or one bound, the batter is out. Now this doesn't force any runners back to the base. So if I'm on first base and there's a long fly ball hit, if it hits the ground, I'm free to run. But if the left fielder catches it on the bound, the batter is out, but I'm not forced back to first base. Another big rule difference is we can't overrun first. So after striking the ball, we have to run as fast as we can to first and stop. If we overrun first, we are fair game and can be tagged out. Now pitching back in that day was still underhanded. It wasn't an overhand pitch. It wasn't a ball that came in real fast. It's something that you would probably relate to a slow pitch softball pitch, but with nowhere near the arc that a slow pitch softball pitch would see. The balls that we use, I'll try to show a comparison later in the video, but the balls that we use are just a little bit bigger than a modern day baseball. They're just as hard. Well, not just as hard. They're close to as hard as a regular baseball. We play with one ball throughout the entire game, much like the way it would have been played back then. So if we lose a ball mid-game, everybody on the field takes the time out to go find that ball, because that's what would have been done in the 1860s. The 2020 season will be my 6th season playing vintage baseball. I played for 2 different teams, as well as our league has a team that travels. So I've been very fortunate to play. I played in Tennessee, I played in Georgia, I played in Alabama, I played in Ohio, I've played in Missouri, I've played at the, we're not going to spoil that one. Well, that'll be another video another day. But needless to say, I've got to play in some very interesting places. We typically don't play on an actual baseball field. Those things didn't exist back then. We play in historic venues. One of the most historic venues that we play at in Middle Tennessee is the Hermitage, which was the home of President Andrew Jackson. So we actually play about 50 yards from the tomb of Andrew Jackson on one of the back fields behind the mansion. We play downtown Nashville at Bicentennial Park, which is overlooked by the Tennessee State Capitol. We play at other places like historic plantations, other historic homes. We play in Georgia at the 6th Cavalry Museum. So we played a lot of historic venues, and it's always in a field, because that's the way the game was played back then. There were no backstops, there were no dugouts, there were no stands usually. So we set up in a field. We do have a backstop that we've created just for convenience to keep the ball from going everywhere, and it's usually made of 2x4s and chicken wire. And then all of our fans that attend the games, which are all free of charge, they all bring their own chairs, their own blankets. They may bring a sack lunch or a whole picnic. One of my most favorite venues that we got to play in a couple years back was historic Rickwood Field. And if you've never heard of Rickwood Field, you should really check it out. It is the oldest professional baseball field still being used to play ball. I believe it's about 4 years older than Wrigley Field. So you should really check that out. Here's a story that was done by the local news there when we did our, we planned on playing a doubleheader right after the first game. It come a torrential downpour, so we only got to play one game, but check this video out.
It's called vintage baseball.
We're going to play by the rules and customs of 1864. It's a Civil War barehanded baseball.
Yes, you heard him right. Players using their bare hands to catch a ball.
Biggest difference you'll notice is that we don't wear gloves. Also, if the ball is caught on one bound, or which we call a bound rule, striker is still out. We don't overrun first.
There's a certain technique to catching the ball. They say it's like catching an egg. You want to have soft hands to help absorb some of the shock.
Your hands toughen up a little bit. I mean, the first few weeks of practice and things, your hands sting and they get a little bruised, but over time you kind of figure it out.
Some of these guys, they'll put those hands out there and they'll stop anything. So, but it can leave a bruise. Go, little brother, get one now.
Nearly 30 players of the Tennessee Association of Vintage Baseball played an exhibition game at Rickwood Field on Saturday. Their first time ever visiting the oldest ballpark in America.
It's just an amazing feeling to be out here, especially here at Rickwood Field, to play on the same field that Hall of Famers like Mickey Mantle and Babe Ruth and Ty Cobb and Lou Gehrig all got to play. Is a unique experience.
There are more than 400 vintage baseball teams throughout the U.S. In Birmingham, I'm Christina Chambers, WBRC Fox 6 Sports, on your side.
All right, guys, well, I'm going to wrap this up here. I hope you enjoyed the video today. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel.